So our next speaker for tonight is Mrs. Mopelola Ojobaru. Is a specialist in system and executive assistant. She has over 6 years experience as a virtual assistant and a cold email specialist, helping remote CEOs and founders scale through their business. She's known for building clean, reliable systems that reduce costs and help leaders to focus on growth. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome Mrs. Mopelola Ojobaru. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Martha. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to all our presenters too. You've really made a good package. And I want to say special thank you to Emmanuel Yibike for drawing me out of my shell. He knows that I love my space. I like being in face of people. I just want to join the webinar, and since I saw the flyer on his status, I know that whatever he does is premium. So I wanted to join. I wanted to silently join, so I don't know that he's going to rat me out. And it's a pleasure joining you today. And then Mr. Gideon, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. And then good evening, everyone, once again. My name is Ojobaru Mopelola Adekemi, and I am a teacher. I am a driver. I am an ideator. I am an innovator, and I'm a writer, and a lot of things. Yes, I do a lot of things. And then being on the online space has been going on for some years now. I actually started freelancing right from the days of Odesk to Elance, Upwork, Fiverr, People Per Hour, Freelance.com, iWriter, just name them. I've touched those websites and I've made money off them. And that is why I think I'm capable to talk to you today about the business of freelancing. The topic given to me is inside the client's mind, what it really takes to succeed and scale as a virtual assistant. Actually, when I started fully as a writer on Upwork, in those days we use foreign accounts to write because those foreigners, they don't believe that Nigerians can speak good and write fluent English. So we tend to use foreign accounts. Along the line, those times I thought it's only Philippines that are virtual assistants. I actually heard about it then way back 2014, 2015, but they are most common to the Asians and then mostly Philippines. And I think I have opened about 6 or 7 accounts on Upwork up till now. And I had a break in between anyway. And when I came back in 2000 during the lockdown, I started another Nigerian profile as a writer. And that account was there for 2 years and a year, and I made only $200. So I abandoned the account. So after I abandoned it, COVID-19 brought everybody online. And so people started showcasing their experiences, giving value online. Then I got to learn about virtual assistants. I signed up for some courses. Then I went back to my profile to optimize my profile, to clean it up. And I just changed from writing to being a general virtual assistant. And I want to tell you that for another 7 months, nothing was coming in, like Mr. Gideon has said, because that time you may get discouraged and you forget about, you may even abandon your account or do all that. And then after 7 months, the first big break comes. So that is one of the experiences I can say that I'm qualified to talk to you today about freelancing and what it entails. And like Martha has rightly read out, I've been a virtual assistant and operation specialist. I've been working with mostly digital marketing agencies and then some marketing agencies who are doing outbound campaigns, outreach, mostly outreach too. And then since 2023, when I came back on Upwork, up till December last year, I became a top-rated on Upwork. And I'm still on Upwork. We are still moving on. Then my journey started as freelancing with simple admin tasks. That's what I want to encourage everybody today. Don't say because you learn web designing and you want to start, you now start from the top of the ladder. You cannot do simple tasks. No, you really have to start from the bottom of the ladder. You really have to start step by step. I always say that being a virtual assistant is jack of all trade, because a virtual assistant is needed in almost all businesses. So every company needs a virtual assistant. The only thing that is different is that if you are working with an accounting firm, the tools that they use are different from when we are working in the real estate, or when you are working with ACE, those are the architect, construction or engineering companies. It is different from when you are working with white label digital marketing agencies. So all those tools, they are different. So when you are just starting out, I would suggest that you start as a general virtual assistant, and then you go in with a low pay. It works. When you go in with a low pay, because you are just fresh on those platforms, you need your portfolio, you need your experiences. No matter the skills you have, if you don't have previous experience, it is going to be difficult to scale. So you need those experiences. And I would even advise, if you have a place to do internship, maybe locally in Nigeria here, whereby you can get those experience, those tools, those tasks that you worked on, that you have the screenshots, you have the files to use as portfolios, so that you have something you can leverage on eventually when you learn online. Over time, I built expertise in executive support, project management, and cold email marketing. And that is where my love lies now. But actually, I did not start with cold email marketing. Working across various agencies, working with various founders, then I discovered that, okay, this is where my strength is. And that is where I am pitching my tent with. Helping founders not only to stay organized, but also acquire new clients and grow revenue. So that shift from tax doer to business partner changed everything in my career. That is what I always position myself, not just as an assistant, but as a partner, as a co-worker, as a co-builder in their business. So that is what has positioned me to make sure that I am still relevant and things are still moving on. When we talk about the gig trap, if any of you have ever worked on Fiverr, you know that then we start with $5 gig. So you can do a gig, finish that gig, and in another 1 month you may not get any other gig or job. So when I came back on Upwork this time around, I don't take short-term contract. And if I want to take a short-term contract, it's going to be something that will be able to sustain me for another 2 months or 3 months. I make sure that I take a bigger, a large job, a bigger pay that is going to sustain me for some time. I don't take, I look for long-term contracts. You know, long-term contract starts from 6 months, 1 year, and like that, and some contract to permanent roles. That's what I do. So the problem with gig worker is that many VAs stay stuck doing one-off low-value task. Okay, help us to edit our website, help us to update our website, and they just do, okay, post a content on our blog today, and they just do it and go away. And client sees them as replaceable. They are not essential. Anybody can do those simple tasks. Then your income will become inconsistent and unpredictable. You don't have a lot of money coming in for you. You are not sure when the next this thing will come in. Then the gig is got to just get it done. Then business partner, we help them to grow, we simplify and succeed. What do? Once I come into your company, I look for ways to improve your workflow. I look for ways to upsell the services you are doing. I look for loopholes. Yes, in the way they run their businesses, in their department, I look for loopholes and I now make suggestions. CEOs and founders invest in people who think beyond the task. Long-time or high-paying opportunities come when you position yourself as a part of the business and not just a freelancer. And that is exactly what I do. During my interview, I would have told you I want to know the mission, the vision of the organization, and what they expect from an ideal partner working with them. Some of them, they don't like calling yourself your staff or employee. No, they like collaborator or partner. So I would have asked them what they are expecting. what is your KPI for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. When you do that, you are already positioning yourself that you are here for the long run. And they too, they will be relaxed that at least they have somebody that they can rely on. What does the client really want? And from my experience working with founders of marketing agencies, I think I've worked with about 6 or 7 marketing agencies now. They want reliability and ownership. I myself, I don't like micromanagement. So when in the course of the interview, so if I notice that you are someone that micromanage, I won't take your job. So, and when you assign a task to me, or when you uh, tell me my role, I take ownership of that role. So, and ideal clients, they want reliability and ownership, and they prefer clear communication and initiative. And that is one thing that I see that is lacking in most of our Nigerian freelancers. We don't tend to come straight. We don't. Some of us, we have a 9 to 5 that we are going to attend. I noticed that Pakistani, they do it a lot, and Nigerians are doing it now. They have their aunties that are sick. They have their uncles that have stroke today. Tomorrow they are taking their father to the hospital. You took this job, but you are now giving excuses. And some of them, they even abandon the job. They won't do it until the last minute when you are supposed to turn such job in. So that is why some good clients are running away from Nigerians. They don't want to work with us. They need strategic support beyond admin tasks. So if you are a virtual assistant, they need more than that. Some of them, they need somebody that can motivate them, somebody that will check in with them every morning, check with them at the end of the day, every day. Someone that will say, I want someone who thinks 2 steps ahead of me. If you always go through Upwork and reading those job posts, you must have seen this line. They want somebody that before they even identify or say or mention a tax, you are already mentioning it for them. So when you do that, you are making yourself very you are making yourself indispensable to them. So you are always with them. Standing out in the crowded market, I can say, if you notice online now, there are various courses, various tutorials on virtual assistant and all that. But I can still assure you that people are still coming in, and there are still many jobs that are available for us. The sky is wide enough for as many birds that want to fly. The challenge is that thousands of VAs compete for the same roles on Upwork, LinkedIn, and job boards. So if you want to go into freelancing, or if you want to be a virtual assistant, please be distinct, be extraordinary. There's something that should make you different from the pack. Most profile and pitches sound remarkably similar when you go and check. And one of our writers was saying yesterday that you can copy. Yes, when you go to Upwork, check through the profiles, check the top rated, look at their the skill tags, look at their skill set, and create yours too. But don't copy and paste 100%. You should know how to remodel what they are doing out there in your own way. Because you want to do what is already working. Don't bring another new thing that you are not even sure, that has not been proven that it is working. So the solution is a clear headline that shows results and not just tasks. From my experience now, hiring or applying for candidates who are looking for jobs in US companies, in remote and on-site and hybrid jobs, I noticed that the way they write their resume is different from what we do in Nigeria. If you are going to apply as a business development representative, that is BDR, all your experiences should be on BDR. You cannot have on your certificate that you work with Dangote as an operator. You work with Oando Oil as a dispenser. No. If you are going to create your resume, you have only one school, which is your university, or maybe only your master's. Mention only one school. Here in Nigeria, we start from primary school, nursery school. No, they don't do their CV that way. Mention only one school, your name as the headline, your email address is okay, your email address and phone number. Then when you are writing that experience. You write your experience with metrics, what you were able to achieve. Assuming as a code email specialist now, assuming I set up a code campaign for a client and we ran a campaign, maybe we ran it for 4 weeks and we sent out about 1,000 messages and we got 30% replies, and which out of that 30% replies, about 5% converted to opportunities. That is what a client want to see. Instead of saying that I work with Spectra Acquisition May 2025 to June 2027, no. They want to see the metrics on your district. They want to see your skill and what you achieved for that organization. So a clear headline that shows result and not just tax. Don't just say I manage email. Show how you built a system that save a CEO 10 hours a week. Your credibility, use your client testimonials and your metrics and your work samples. Like previous speakers have mentioned, your portfolio is very, very important. Then your metrics. Then nowadays, this is one thing I don't do and I started doing now. When I do some things for you, I don't expect feedbacks, but I've noticed that testimonials and feedbacks, they work. So when you work with a client and they don't give you feedback, there's a way you write your message, you coin your message and send to them and request and politely request for an honest feedback on your services to them. It is those feedbacks. You can get it in a video feedback. You can even set up a call. Maybe you are checking in with them. Just set up a call with them, just a 5-minute check-in, and make sure they make a comment on your performances. Those are those areas that you are going to crop, that you are going to use as testimonials. So instead of saying I can handle your inbox, you can say that I design an inbox workflow that cuts responses time by 40% for a SAS company, a SaaS founder. So what that one is doing is showing them the real metrics, the value you are bringing to their business. Then the core skills and tools of an executive assistant. There are so many tools. You can start from just managing their email inbox, managing calendars, booking meetings, and completing deadlines. Then communication to how you check in with them. Some of them, what they need for you is to go into their email every day. Any marketing emails that come in, any promotion, you are free to deal with it the way you want. But any messages that are coming from their clients, you label them and do all sorts of things. So you have to anticipate the needs of the CEO before they even ask. Then you make sure that you start learning. Man is a learning animal. We are going to learn till we die. So you have to be relevant. You have to be on your toes. Look for new tools that come in every time. Look for new tools. Always make sure that you are conversant with the tools that are outside there for project management tools, communication tools, CRMs, email outreach, and what have you, and automation and everything. I will drop this slide in the WhatsApp community so that you can have access to it. Make sure you are learning every time. Make sure you are make YouTube your best friend. So, and then on Facebook too, you have some valuable people that you can follow that are sharing values that you can follow. Then from there, let me go to let me talk about what Gideon said earlier. If you don't plan yourself well, Upwork or any of those freelancing platforms can give you breakfast at any time. They may just cancel your account without doing anything, like Mr. Gideon has explained. But how do you save yourself from that? You can do that by creating a brand, just as he has said. Then you can also do that by making sure that you have clients that are off those platforms. Now, I noticed one thing that despite us having those accounts, the platform I use mostly now is Upwork. And I can assure you that buying Connect now is quite expensive. In 2023, when I made my comeback on Upwork, I wrote about 562 proposals before I got a job over 7 month period. One thing I noticed now that our latest freelancers now, they don't want to wait. They are impatient. They just want to start making the money now. Now, no, it does not work that way. Even on Upwork, apart from building your brand on social media platforms, even if you are on Fiverr, on Upwork, you have to put yourself out there. How do you do that? Is constantly showing up. It is when you show up every day, when you apply every day, when you search through posted jobs every day, that is when the algorithm will always rank your profile. So ensure that you are always showing up, then be consistent. I know it is difficult to get money nowadays to buy um, Connect. Last year, I spent 1.8 million naira applying for jobs on Upwork. It's no joke. I can show you proof. I spent 1.8 million naira to apply on for jobs on Upwork. And do you know the reason why I do that? And over time, I noticed that some of us, we once we get a single project, then we go and relax and we focus on that project. And you know, all these clients, especially the USA clients, they jump jobs, they jump businesses because they don't pay for offices, they don't pay for physical offices, they use their house as their offices. So they may work on this project today. After 6 months, if they are not seeing returns, they pack it up and start another one again. So by that time, if you remain on only one job, by the time they are packing up, you too, you are going back to square one. You are going to be jobless. So when I see any post on a job post on Upwork and it says that yeah, you are not allowed to work on any other project, I don't take them. If you check my Upwork profile now, I have 16 active jobs and they are active because I normally build relationship with my clients. So when they even when they don't have any project, when they are coming back, I am always the first point of call because every month, every beginning of the month, I make sure that I send messages to them. Every major holiday in USA or UK, wherever you are, I make sure that I send messages to them. And if I know your date of birth, I make sure that I congratulate you too. So whatever they are doing, I follow them on LinkedIn. So whatever latest achievement they have, I make sure I keep up those relationships. So this year, I now determined in my mind that I'm not going to spend as much money on Upwork like I did last year. And then, luckily for me, towards the end of last year, I got a job with a sales agency, and what they do mostly is to find jobs for candidates in USA. So how do we do that? Then I see that this system can also work for us in Nigeria. What you do, if you know you don't have money for buying Connect, just use LinkedIn. And this time around, you don't use LinkedIn just applying to the jobs that are posted. You use LinkedIn, using cold emails. Then when you send your cold emails the right way, then I'm sure that clients will get back to you. You see, there's no way you are not going to get a job. This is a system that I've tried and it is working. For example, now last week, I wrote 217 emails, cold emails for jobs, and I was able to place first time interview, 12 interviews. So that shows that that system works and it is just using LinkedIn. And then I will say that because of the time in our maybe subsequent sessions, I may be able to elaborate on it because it is just a topic on its own. Then another thing I want to say under code email is that if you online and you are a virtual assistant, at least you have a niche. Maybe you are working in the real estate, you are working with an accounting firm, you are working with a tax firm, you are working as a medical health assistant, you are working with, just name it, so many agencies, so many companies, they need an assistant. Now, there are some code outbound agencies that what they do for their clients is to help them get more customers. That is what overseas companies, especially USA, what they need is they need constant customers. They need new customers. So if you are helping them to get customers, you too, you will not be poor and you will not be jobless. So that is where code email comes in, and so many agencies are doing it. They are doing it in the edge space. just name it. For even our local HVAC, yes, you can do cold emailing for HVAC, plumbing, builders, construction companies, and just name it in various aspects. And I can assure you that I'm working with all these agencies that have such clients. And even up to getting loans for your business, getting fundings for your business, I have experience on those things. And I can assure you that cold emailing works. Then under cold email, if you want to specialize on that, we have lot of branches that you can specialize on. We have the technical setup. Those are the ones that create the inboxes, that buys the domain, that set up the sending platform, the servers and everything. Technical setup. That is everything you do and you get paid. Then we have the inbox managers. What they do is that when they are sending out messages, when the responses are coming, you are the one that will be responding to those messages and setting appointments on the calendars, on the client calendars. We have the deliverability specialists. What they do is just to manage the campaigns. You log into the platform every day and check if the campaigns are running smoothly and check if there are no disconnections and everything. So the problem with this, most freelancers send copy and paste messages. That one thing I've noticed that we are doing cold email. You send some messages. In fact, when I open my LinkedIn inbox, sometimes I don't reply to some messages or I just delete it. No, you have to write a that the reader will see. Once they see the message, they okay. It's like this person knows me. Let me open it and say what is there. So when you just do copy and paste or just spam or write anything, they don't read it, they delete it right away, or they don't even respond to it. So if you are doing cold email, even if it is for your clients or you are doing it for yourself to get job, what you do, this method works even if it is on Facebook or on LinkedIn, or if you have access to their email. Research about the company, research about the roles, and research about the individual you are writing to, if you know the person you are writing to. If you know the person in charge, maybe the talent acquisition manager or the recruiter you're writing to, research about them, notice their latest post on LinkedIn or activity, notice their recent, sometimes some of them, they don't have any activity like me on LinkedIn, they don't post on LinkedIn, but sometimes they comment to other people's posts, they repost other people's posts, they like other people's posts, they react to it. Those things are what we use to write code outreach, outbound for them. Make the first line about them, not you. When you are talking to them, after writing your subject line, make the first line about them. Compliment them in a way that is not salesy, that is not too not too bogus. Just make it natural. Just about 3 or 4 sentences maximum. That is what your email must be. So the first one is, we call it icebreaker. That is when you just talk about them. Talk about something they have done. Congratulations on your new role as or your promotion as so. I saw that you reposted about UBK. I appreciate you for the wonderful thing you are doing. So then you just write something about them in the first line. Then in the body of your message, make sure that you don't write long messages. Even when you are applying through email and they ask you to send your CV, in your cover letter, do the same thing. So once you write maximum of 4 sentences, short 4 sentences that are direct, then politely state the reason why you are reaching out to them. Then you can just now include a soft call to action, like Mr. Gideon did at the end of his presentation. Just a soft call to action will do the magic. So once you put a soft call to action, like for example, you can ask for a 10 minutes for a quick chat to show them what you can do for them. You can ask for, would this be something that they are interested in? Would this be something that you are interested in learning more about? Or, I like what you are doing in social place. Would you let us exchange our playbook, or let us exchange notes? And those are the things you just write about. Then, like, I will not bore you with a lot of things here because Mr. Gideon has talked about them. This one is talking about not relying on Upwork as such. The challenges that we face, too many freelancers rely only on one platform, especially Upwork. That leads to feast or famine income cycle because today you have something to do, tomorrow there's nothing to do. But as you grow higher, as you expand, ensure that you build a pipeline. Then I also create the formula you can follow so that you have something to rely on. A potential client can reach out to you via your Facebook. They can reach out to you via your YouTube, your LinkedIn. Ensure that you don't rely on all those freelancing platform as much. A founder can hire you for you to clean up their inbox, document the workflow, and you save them hours, and you even retain operations and client outreach. I was hired for a client. He has about 170,000 messages in his inbox. That is exactly what he hired me for. And then we were supposed to do that for 1 week and at about 35 hours per week to just clean it up. And because I like AI a lot, like our presenter said yesterday, I like working with AI because they shorten my time and I have time to work on other tasks. So I was able to do that within 3 days. The inbox is clean. I created labels and do everything. Then I now go ahead to take their because in his email you find out that he is in charge of anything that has to do with payments of their organization. So I created a folder on their drive and save all their invoices each year for a period of 5 years. So I created the folders, I separated everything, and it was neat and beautiful. The wife was the accountant for him. By the time the wife saw it, she has to left that part for me. Currently now, I prepare their payroll now every twice in a month, every semi-monthly, every 15 days. Now I'm in charge of the payroll. Instead of us finishing that 1 gig, now I'm a member of the organization. And by next Tuesday now, they are going to introduce me to other teams in the organization. So what does that tell us? We have to make sure that we don't overpromise and underdeliver. So that is what I call that. What you do is that when you see an opportunity to upsell them, please do that. That 1 gig turned into a long-term contract and refers to 2 other CEOs. And now we are even friends because he has even introduced me to all his friends and everything. Then when a client asks you to do something for them, it could be to fix their CRMs like Notion, like Hotspot and all that. Then make sure you automate your workflows and use templates a lot. Then you also carry them along. Whatever you are doing for them, you carry them along. One thing I've noticed is that every morning you send a message when you are checking in, irrespective of the fact that they see that you are online. It is not enough. You send a message when you are checking in, and during the day too, around lunchtime, around 12 p.m. ET or whatever the time zone is between the lunch period to just checking. You just tell me, this is how far I've gone today. This is what I've done today, and what happened to your side. What else can I take on off your plate? Then at the end of the day, you make a summary of what you have done that same day and send it to them before you clock out, even if they know that it is already your time. Before you clock out, make sure you also notify them and send a message. Those are the things, those are the qualities that will make them to always have us in their mind, and also help us to have long-term goals. Then lastly, before I leave, one thing I want to add is that please, we are freelancers. As much as your loyalty counts, please don't any employer that tells you that we are going to take you for 8 hours and you stay on my job only. Please don't do it. You are writing letter to hunger. You know how you plan your time. So have as much gig as you are able to cover in a day. Then don't take on a job you cannot do. I know there's one thing we do on Fiverr previously in previous years. We call it arbitrage. You can take, you may not even know anything about it, but you have a community of people that can do it. You can take it and give it to people that are going to do it. And when they are done, you deliver the client. That works. But you know that you don't have time for this task and you're not going to give it out. Why taking it in the first place? This attitude, they give us a bad image. They can also give us bad reviews online. In fact, they give the Nigerian community, the Nigerian freelancer community, bad image. There was a time there was a job on Upwork and the client said he does not want Nigerians to apply. And I looked through and he came from South Africa. Then I applied. And when he eventually interviewed me, first stage, second stage, and the last stage, he now asked me, he said, do I have any question? And I said, why did you put on Upwork that you did not want Nigerians? And he said, because Nigerians, they don't know how to speak English. My God, I was very, in fact, I was sad and I was very annoyed. And I told him that your experience, he said he has employed two people like that, that they were not, that they were writing bad English because we were supposed to manage inbox. And I told him, and he said, when I read your proposal, I said I must talk to this person. And I told him that we have individual uniqueness. The fact that somebody was not up to par or up to what you are, did not meet your expectation, does not mean you write off a whole country. Before I left that agency, he hired 3 Nigerians. Currently now, he has 3 Nigerians working with him. So I want us as freelancers, in the Nigerian freelancers, to make a change in the space, in the freelancing space. Let them see us in a new dimension and a new way. And then, before I leave today, I want to tell you again that clients pay for solutions and not the number of hours you use. Even if they take you for 8 hours a day, you are supposed to work for 8 hours a day, but you were able to finish this thing under 3 hours. Once the solution is what they need, even if you now spend 15 hours, they would not even appreciate those extra hours if you did not give them a solution, if you did not give them the desired result. Tools plus systems will make you to scale. So please follow those who know road. Adopt YouTube as your first university. Learn, relearn, and unlearn. Ensure that you put yourself out there, always learning every day. And that when you have that, you'll be able to scale, you'll be able to improve. Be a business partner, not just a freelancer. Wherever you find yourself, any organization or anybody you are working with, don't position yourself as a one-time gig. Let them know that you are there to stay for the long haul. Let them know that you are there to give them value for the long time. And finally, understand your clients, master tools, and build pipeline. Thank you very much. And I want to thank you again for listening to me. Then if you want to connect with me, you can always find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. And I will always be on this community. And I hope that by next session when we are coming in, you also get values too. I'll still be around then. If you have any question, you can ask me, because I know a lot of questions will be on grants. There are so many parts that are caught up when it has to do with Upwork or being a freelancer. Please, lastly, change your mindset. It is the way you perceive yourself that you also achieve. Nigerian freelancers, change your mindset. Thank you very much once again.
Wow.
Martha, you can have the call now.
Wow. I think I should come for personal mentorship. And they play. No. I'm just joking with the level I am. I'm joking. I have to come, in fact, for consultation. I will book a session.
No.
Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Like you can see, my teeth was just outside. My teeth was like, if you are here now and you're not getting any value, I don't know why you're here. And for those that are still in the community, I don't know why they are not here. I don't even know why they joined the group in the first place if they are not here. What amazing value. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Like, guys, if you don't get anything from this, like, just learn that you should maintain a very good relationship with your clients. That's the only way you don't have to do a gig and you're laid off. even if they want to close that project, right? They will consider you for another one. They will refer you. You can hear from her testimonies. They will refer you to their friends. They will refer you to their co-workers. Maintain a very good relationship. Some of us are, like, let me say, we suck when it comes to relationship with clients. Like, we are all about our business and our business alone. Sometimes we are not even good with what we do, but we don't accept our fault. We don't take corrections. We don't try to innovate. We don't learn. We don't upskill. When was the last time you took a course? When was the last time you learned something new? She made mention of YouTube University. There is nothing you cannot learn on YouTube. Learn how to maximize the benefit from YouTube now. If you have data, you can learn from YouTube. You can learn anything from YouTube. So much value in one piece. Thank you so much, ma. So our time